One morning, I stepped outside with my coffee and froze. Right there, hammered into the dirt beside my lake, was a bright HOA sign like someone had staked a claim overnight. My lake, the one I had paid for, rebuilt from a dried-up basin into a thriving ecosystem. And before I could even process it, a woman in a spotless silver sedan pulled up, stormed toward me in heels, slammed a fat red binder on my table and hissed, "You don't own this." "We do." Her name was Diane Mercer, president of some supposed homeowners association I didn't even know existed out here. This was rural country cabins scattered acres apart, not cul-de-sacs with matching mailboxes. At first, I thought maybe she was dropping by to welcome me, maybe even bring cookies. Nope. She tapped her manicured nail against a page inside her binder, declaring the lake a community conservation easement complete with usage fees. Except I work as a water rights engineer. I know what real permits look like. Her document had no filing number, no official seal, not even a witness signature. It was pure theater. I pulled out my own binder, the one I keep for moments just like this. Inside were my deeds, water rights, filings, permits, receipts, photos of every step of the restoration. Real paperwork. I slid it across the table. Here's my deed recorded 2 years ago. No easements. Riparian rights clearly attached. For a second, I watched her confident mask crack. Then she snapped her binder shut and spat, "You'll be hearing from our attorney." I wanted to laugh at the absurdity, but a cold weight hit me in the chest. People like Diane don't quit. They escalate. And sure enough, within days, letters started arriving, warnings, inspections. I never requested, neighbors whispering like I was some outlaw who had stolen the lake from the community. It wasn't just annoying. It felt like being stalked by a system I never agreed to join. The harassment only grew bolder. One morning, a gravel delivery truck couldn't reach me because someone had sunk posts in concrete across my easement road. Fresh cement. A brand new blockade. I called the sheriff's office, half expecting them to brush me off as a neighbor dispute. But Deputy Mark Lewis showed up, tired eyes but sharp instincts. He checked my deed, walked the line, and said flatly, "This is unlawful entry. Criminal offense." He started snapping photos for his report, while Diane's allies from the HOA dragged a chain across the barrier and smirked. I caught her gaze. She leaned in just close enough and whispered, "I am the law here." That rattled me more than I wanted to admit. Because it wasn't just arrogance. It was a threat. And when I checked my shoreline later, my heart sank. Someone had put a foreign padlock on my water valve, my equipment on my land. My key didn't fit. That's when it clicked. This wasn't about sharing the lake. It was about control. If Diane couldn't legally take it, she'd make it unusable until I gave up. I started doubting myself. Late nights at the kitchen table, maps and deeds spread out, I kept asking, what if I'd missed something? What if some obscure clause in ancient bylaws gave her a foothold? My clients were getting calls from an anonymous concerned citizen suggesting I was unstable, embroiled in legal troubles. Within a week, I lost more than $20,000 in contracts. It wasn't just my property on the line anymore, it was my livelihood. I stared at the ceiling at 3 a.m., honestly thinking maybe I should just walk away. Maybe it wasn't worth being buried alive under lies. But then help came from an unexpected place. My neighbor, Mrs. Henderson, pulled me aside and whispered, "Diane's got money problems. She's been hiding things in the HOA books. She's desperate." She introduced me to Rebecca Shaw, a CPA who lived in the community. Rebecca was cautious, but once she got a look at the financials, her voice went cold. "These are shell companies. Vendor payments for services never rendered. Diane's been embezzling for years." At the same time, a state inspector, Patricia Williams, ran a full environmental assessment on my lake and confirmed everything I'd done was by the book. Overflow controls. Clean water thriving, biodiversity. Patricia even exposed Diane's hired expert as a fraud with fake credentials, catching him red-handed in front of everyone. Piece by piece, Diane's empire of intimidation unraveled. She hadn't been defending the community. She'd been setting up a revenue stream, leasing the lake to commercial interests, funneling HOA dues into her own pocket, lying to everyone. And suddenly, it wasn't just me fighting back. I had allies, evidence, the law. When the hearing day came, I wheeled in boxes of documents, every page tabbed and labeled. Across the room, Diane sat stiff in her blazer, her lawyer clinging to the argument of historical community usage. They pointed to old logs, a 1998 valve modification authorized only by Diane, claiming it proved possession. The judge's eyes narrowed. On land you didn't own, without permission, that's not adverse possession, that's trespassing. I stood steady for the first time in weeks. Your Honor, here's my deed, certified and recorded. Here's the surveyor's report confirming boundaries. Here's the sheriff's documentation of unlawful barriers. Here's financial analysis showing Ms. Mercer's embezzlement and evidence she promised to lease the lake for $30,000 a year revenue she had no right to offer. Rebecca testified, her voice calm but devastating, laying out the fraudulent payments and shell vendors. Deputy Lewis described the forged inspection requests and roadblocks. Patricia presented her scientific report, praising the restoration as one of the best managed she had ever seen. One by one, the lies collapsed. The judge leaned forward, eyes locked on Diane. You fabricated easements, you forged inspection requests, you embezzled from your neighbors, and you tried to steal property that never belonged to you. This petition is denied. Furthermore, you are ordered to cease all contact with Mr. Reed immediately. Any violation will result in contempt charges, and this entire case file will be forwarded to the district attorney for criminal prosecution. The gavel came down like a gunshot. Diane's face went pale, her lawyer frozen. For months, she had stalked me, harassed me, tried to ruin me. And in that single moment, the weight shifted. She wasn't untouchable. She was accountable. As she was escorted out, I didn't feel joy or triumph, just relief. My hands trembled not from fear this time, but from release. The nightmare was finally over. And if there's one lesson I'll never forget, it's this: when you know you're right, document everything, because evidence beats intimidation every single time.